What's up, guys? It's the real main event, the Rogue Soldier, the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I'm Mrs Crossfire.
And once again, you guys are tuned into Caught
in Conversation. Shakalaka-laka.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 112 of Caught in Conversation, a surprise bonus episode. We weren't sure if we were, if we weren't, and then we interviewed C-Factor yesterday as we record this and thought, fuck it, C-Factor will be 113 and we'll throw this out here and we're going to do a review of MCW Ballroom Brawl, as you'll see by the thumbnail and the description and yada yada yada, whatever our smart mark opinions are worth. As always, I am the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
It is currently 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. We are literally dropping this tomorrow as we record this. We're having coffee at this hour and at night. I think Miss Nova Lee's actually had a little bit more than I have, so she's going to be even more nuts than she usually is. And I'm just having a classic dark international roast. I almost said intercontinental. Maybe I should have said inter-Commonwealth. Inter-Commonwealth roast for this MCW episode. But you're drinking a caramel latte?
A caramel latte.
So I'm going to be sleeping on the couch tonight because she's going to have way too much energy and I ain't putting up with that.
Bitch.
But yeah, we're here. We're doing a review of the MCW Ballroom Brawl Show 2024, which we got for the low, low price of $4.99. That's $5 dues on Stream Horizon. And I just want to put it out there, like, we're not sponsored in any particular way. Like, we're still struggling pretty bad for cash with medical bills. And look, there is a GoFundMe and yada, yada, yada and all that bullshit. But for $5, I thought, look, I had a spare $5 and they announced that it was valid for the 2 weeks up until the show, right up until the day of the show. If you ordered it before the show went live, it was a $5 price. And even my mum, shout out to Mama Crossfire, my youngest brother Tito, showed her how to use technology and she purchased it. And they're all the way in, insert town here. I won't say where they are, but they're 3.5 hours away from where we are here at the compound outside of Wagga Wagga. I swear, I still think that's the only reason Impact came here was just because it was funny to say. But no, like, obviously, we're here, just outside of Wagga Wagga at the Crossfire compound. My mother, your mother-in-law, caffeine's kicked in already, 3.5 hours away, and she watched it just because it was $5 as well, and she thought, $5 to watch Adam Brooks and Slex and Ricky South and Delta and all of these people that we're about to talk about. Like, you can't go wrong for that, honestly. For $5, I'll say this before we even got into the review. I was thoroughly sports entertained for my money's worth.
I thought you were going to say you can't go rogue instead of you can't go wrong. That's literally where it sounded like it was going.
Look, I slip all over. If you listen to the next week's episode at the time of this dropping, because again, this is dropping tomorrow as we record this. It's a surprise bonus episode. We're dropping it on the same day as Dozer. In the intro for next week's episode with Chris Stevens, I said going a well instead of going a wall. It's a slip of the tongue. I'm ADHD. It's a thing that happens over the tongue, teeth, and the lips. How now, brown cow? Whatever the fuck Ron Burgundy did. Like, we're 3.5 minutes into this intro already, and it'll be longer once we put the little official audio at the start. So I think we should get this on track. Shout out to MCW, though, and Stream Horizon for, again, $5. I don't want to sit here and talk in circles and have people turn it off before we even get into it. But it's episode 112, and I've called it Ballroom Blitz. See, look, slip of the tongue. Ballroom Blitz. Again, this is all one take. Like, I used to do solo episodes and edit out my stutter, but look, this is what it is. Ballroom Blitz, because even though it's called Ballroom Brawl, my ADHD brain, every time I see the logo or hear someone talk about it, my brain just goes, and everyone back into a Ballroom Blitz. So, with that being said, the reason this episode is called Ballroom Blitz, Miss Nova Lee, hit us with the song and match of the week.
Is because episode 112 song of the week is Ballroom Blitz by Sweet. And your match of the week is MC Ballroom Brawl match 2021.
Yes, and the reason we've picked the 2021 match and not the one we're reviewing here is just because that actually is on YouTube for free. And literally, probably 3 months ago, maybe just a little bit under, I randomly just went through an MCW kick where I just went through and watched a bunch of their shit, and they've got a handful of Ballroom Brawl matches on there, and you and I just sat there, and I think we were just kind of vibing Rumbles for some reason. I guess we're just missing Rumble season. But no, we just sat there and we binged quite a handful of Ballroom Brawl matches, and I just thought, obviously I picked the song of the week because I was singing it, and you said, well, hey, how about the 2021 Ballroom Brawl, which was won by Mitch Waterman, which was probably, honestly, of the ones that's on there, probably my favorite Ballroom Brawl match, actually. Like, they're all good. Like, a Rumble's always a Rumble regardless. Like, it's still always the same. But no, the 2021 one, for some reason, just say that 5 times fast. The 2021 one just stood out to us for some reason, and yeah, that's why it's the song/match of the week. But I think we should probably get into this because I don't want to sit here and rant for an hour and a half. I want to, 40 minutes to an hour, and just, again, for whatever our smart ass opinions are worth, we're talking about it.
Smart ass.
But MCW Ballroom Brawl 2024. We both thoroughly enjoyed the opening video. We did feel that the voiceover needed a little bit more enthusiasm, but it did still give the big fight feel. And again, like, I've taken notes, but it's already been, 2 weeks today as we record it since it happened?
Yeah.
So, again, like, I'm literally refreshing myself. So if you remember stuff as I'm going through the notes, as always, yell out. You've got your notes to actually go through. But if there's something when we're talking about specific matches that pops out, feel free to jump on in. But before we get into this first match here was the MCW Intercommonwealth Championship. You had Delta defending against the Gift, Robbie Thorpe. Your winner via pinfall, new MCW Intercommonwealth Champion, is the Gift, Robbie Thorpe. Now, before we kind of go through, and we're not going to fully break down these entire matches, but we're just going to kind of give clip notes. Do we want to talk about where Delta could be going or is going, or do we want to wait until after the Rumble because she was featured in that as well? Do we just...
I reckon wait till after the Rumble, yeah.
I just wanted to, again, this is all one take. Like, we're both ADHD as fuck. We enjoy doing this. Sorry, MCW, if this, if whoever listens to this doesn't find this up to professional standard, but this is an absolute cluster muck. I'll try
and it's a free podcast, so...
Yeah, again, we did enjoy the show, but we're just going to break down and pick a few things apart. Most of it is positive. There was a couple of little things, but it's not, who the fuck are we? Like, we're not booking the shows. Like, yeah. But look, let's get into it. I only seen bits and pieces of Robbie Thorpe, but Robbie Thorpe really do enjoy the whole Gift persona, though, and his entrance video is so fucking tacky, but in, the best way possible. Like, it's just... super cheesy. It almost had a mid to late 90s feel to it, honestly, with the way the presents were kind of just bouncing around the screen. I really did enjoy that. Again, we're ADHD as hell, so the aesthetic stuff is stuff we take notice of as well. But yeah, it was just great. And yeah, Delta is obviously leaving Australia, and she has been signed somewhere. Speculation does lead to WWE. We've already said give us Delta versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41 if that is the case, and that is where she's going, and I say hot shot her to the moon. But this was actually the first ever MCW Championship match. Oh, I was going to say the first ever MCW Championship match in MCW for Robbie Thorpe. Was the first ever championship match in MCW for Robbie Thorpe. Again, just repeating myself for the sake of repeating myself because I'm tripping all over my freaking words here. But yeah, his first ever title shot in the company, and he beats Delta to do it, but it wasn't without controversy. Of course, the match spilled straight out to the ringside, getting the fans, involved and getting them all hot and heavy for the first match. Delta getting the fans to chop Robbie Thorpe, which no matter how many times that spot gets done, it always pops me because you see especially the kids when they chop the wrestlers and the wrestlers sell it like they've been shot, with a gun or something that it's just seeing the kids' eyes light up. It's always a fun little thing. I really, really do enjoy it. Alternatively though, the chop where Robbie accidentally chopped the ring post, no matter how many times I see that spot, or who I see do that spot, it makes me fucking cringe. And obviously that's the point. But in my mind, I'm just granted, okay, I'm a half-assed, wrestler, or was at some point. In my mind, I'm I don't know how you chop the post. without straight up breaking your fucking head.
Both.
Like, obviously, not to go too far in it, chops are done in a certain way. If you do them right, they do make a lot of noise without hurting your opponent. But to do the big swing and still hit the post and, it's just, I don't know, like, a lot of room for error. I mean, I'm like, that's broken fingers if you slip up for sure. But relatively quick match and a ref bump, and there was a finisher kick out, which I did originally kind of groan at while watching because I was like, finisher kick out in the first match. But then Rocky Monero comes out. I accidentally almost called him Rocky Romero while writing these notes, so I've had to literally make a note of that it is not Rocky Romero, it's Monero. I know the difference between the two, but again, ADHD, wires get crossed. Rocky Monero, royalty in Australian professional wrestling, to say the least. But Rocky comes out, he, of course, in kayfabe, is the crooked general manager of MCW, as well as being an active competitor. But Robbie Thorpe uses the ropes. Rocky, with the ref shirt, does a fast count, gets the crowd nice and riled up, and of course, for the opening match, that's always the goal. And I think we did all expect Delta to drop the title here, but it was honestly done in a very good way, very smart way. But I was going to ask, like, we'll probably get into it, like, further on, but I did write a note here. Is there any dream matches just off the top of the head that you'd like to see Delta overseas? Like, again, we don't know where exactly she is going. There's been speculations, but just if you could, in a perfect world, put her in a WWE, TNA, AEW, just where are you putting her?
Well, like, as in, like, in TNA or WWE,
yeah, so, like, where,
who, like, dream matches and such.
So the speculation is, like, WWE, but, like, we'll break it down properly at the end of the Rumble, but I wrote a mental note here. Are there any, like, dream matches or just anywhere specifically you'd like to see her go? Because obviously she wrestled Jordan Grace in Ballarat, of all places.
Yeah.
Which was a fucking banger match. But I 100% would love to see them two go at it again. But at the same time, this whole WWE TNA crossover, which is going over right now, I was almost going to do a Markapalooza episode on that at some point. But if she does go to NXT, there is still potential for a Jordan Grace rematch now.
Yeah.
Even in WWE. But for me, I'd like to see her in TNA just because I'm biased. TNA Impact has always been my favorite promotion, and I truly believe that since the get-go, since 2007, where they first formed their women's division, all the way up until now, I think TNA/Impact has always had the most solid, more rounded women's division. But the women's division on WWE's main roster, where I could, honestly, and maybe I'm biased because she's Australian, but I could see Delta being hot-shotted to that main roster, and there's a lot of dream matches there. But just where would you prefer to see her? I guess so we don't rant until we get to the end of the Rumble.
Pretty much like definitely WWE. Mainly because I want that match with her and Rhea.
Oh, 100%, dude, 100%.
At the same time, I'd really love to see a match with her and Zoe Stark.
Oh, see, now that's a good shout, right? Like, if Zoe Stark doesn't make Money in the Bank this year, like they've only just literally today as we're recording this, we're 2 weeks out from Money in the Bank and they've only just started the Money in the Bank qualifying matches on the SmackDown side of things. If Zoe Stark doesn't make it in on the Raw side of things, I'm just a mark with an opinion, but I'm going to be so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Because I need to see Zoe Stark in that ladder match. She's proven that she can do some phenomenal stuff, and I feel like Money in the Bank, like, I'm not saying that she has to win, which if she did, I'd pop like a motherfucker, but man, I'm a very big fan of Zoe Stark, and obviously you are as well. I know you are, but even, and this is probably left field, but you talk about Zoe Stark, her current tag team partner, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, that was
like Delta
one.
versus Shayna.
Yeah.
And even, and I'm going to get heat from the internet from saying this, but I don't give a fuck because she has really improved. Delta versus Nia Jax. Tell me that wouldn't be a banger. Like, we saw at Elimination Chamber that Nia can wrestle a main event match. Like, I don't know, you kind of seem a little bit indifferent about that one, but...
No, I agree. That's one of the ones I was actually going to mention. But I just was like, it's more not that I'm indifferent, it's more that I was thinking about someone else.
Okay. Your brain's ticking, I can see it ticking.
Alexa Bliss.
Ooh.
Because the height difference would be fucking awesome.
Well, see, I don't know, because Delta is still fairly short, but I think she does have height on Alexa.
Yeah.
But even if, even again, they're fairly matched in height, regardless, but I think at the same time, it's still very much
It was more
the power.
I was thinking like David and Goliath.
Yeah, it still is very much because Delta's the powerhouse, Alexa like the gymnast type of background. I get where you're going with that. Yeah, it's almost like a, fucking, for lack of a better term, just because I'm a mark, like a Batista versus a Rey Mysterio almost kind of thing. Like,
even like with this White Six stuff, like her flowing into that because like the way her gimmick is like
Delta versus Nikki Cross would be phenomenal. But yeah, I think we'll rattle on more about that. But I did make a mental note to say, hey, do you have any Delta Dream matches? Because obviously I was making notes as we were going, and I wasn't sure if Delta was going to be actually in the Rumble at the end of the night. But anyway, match number 2. Ricky South, Mikey versus Mikey Broderick. Your winner via pinfall, and I actually left this fucking bit blank, so I'm glad this is part that I did remember, was Ricky South. He went over clean with his Deep South pile driver. But of course, Mikey Broderick here in MCW is actually a massive babyface, and he's doing the whole Universal Soldier thing, which he does pretty much everywhere outside of the ACT now. But I've been obviously we don't live in the ACT, but obviously being very involved with the ACT wrestling scene, I kind of forgot that Mikey wasn't just a heel.
Can I just say, squat, 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 squat.
I almost made that the song of the week, like just for shits and gigs. But no, like this probably sounds fucking foolish. I don't know how I forgot, but somehow I forgot how much of a great character Mikey is on top of being a phenomenal athlete. I don't think anyone can dispute that. But I'm so used to seeing him like doing the whole top shelf champ, or I guess now that he's no longer the champ, the top shelf athlete kind of thing, that I forgot that he had this side of him, and I don't know why, because I've seen him do that live, and it's just phenomenal. But him and Ricky South is one that when I first discovered him, and he was one of the very first Aussie wrestlers you discovered as well, because PWA were some of the first Aussie shows you watched with me. We were like, there's no way this guy could be a heel. And the way that Ricky has transitioned his gimmick over the last few years, and he's become the example, the polar opposites here with him and Mikey were beautifully done. Fans very solidly behind Mikey. Ricky automatically, because he's from Sydney, is already going to be like the bad guy to an extent because it's in Melbourne, but just the way that these two bounced off each other with their characters was awesome. I fucking loved it, man. But as I said, South over, Deep South pile driver, nothing really to talk about, but it was a great show for both guys. Fans strongly behind Mikey, as I said. A great, solid match. Absolutely, like nothing wrong with it, but it's just they didn't do anything fancy, which they didn't have to do anything fancy, but it was a match that was there, but both guys, they look strong, brother. But as you say, it was a match. It was a match that happened. I did enjoy it, but nothing really to. And again, I'm not Dave Meltzer, so I'm not going to be like, it was 3 and 3. No, like it was it was a banger match. They did their job. They succeeded at their job. Fucking awesome. Like, move on to the next one. Match number 3, Ryan Rapid versus Mick Moretti. Your winner via pinfall. Ryan Rapid, and this was your first time, Novalee, I believe, seeing Ryan Rapid in a full match. I think you've seen a social media clipped here or there, but I think this was the first full match that you've seen start to finish. And again, much like I mentioned with Mikey Broderick, because we are here in MCW and we're in Melbourne, different promotion, Mick Moretti, while still being the same character, is doing it a little bit differently and very much the heel. And obviously when I first found Mick Moretti, he was the rapscallion and he was a dirty heel and him and Bonza were cheating. But again, since you discovered Mick Moretti, he's been a babyface the entire time in every promotion we've seen him in, and we've seen him in a handful of promotions now. So it's kind of cool to see the way that he's blended. He's almost become a hybrid of his current gimmick that he's doing, but scaled it. Well, I don't want to say scaled it back because that sounds like he's watered it down, but he's, I guess, peeled off a layer or shed a new layer to turn what he's doing and make it work as a heel. But again, Mick Moretti, he's a fantastic wrestler, a fantastic trainer. He's trained some of the best, not just in the country, in the world right now. Absolutely. But no, it was really good. And this was very much the student versus teacher kind of thing here as well. I don't know. Again, I don't know the behind the scenes of PWA and MCW because I'll never be talented enough to work for either of them. So I don't know if he actually has helped train Ryan Rapid or if it was just a kayfabe thing, but it's a story they were telling. Again, I keep up with MCW as much as I can through socials, but I can't afford to watch every show, and I definitely can't afford to travel for every show. But no, there was a student versus teacher here, mentor kind of thing, and Rapid. It was a very personal story, and they did a very good job with the commentary team, and just they did a great job of getting the story over of who the good guy and the bad guy was before the bell even rang. But Rapid, just like his namesake, straight out the bat, just comes flying with everything. Mick Moretti showing just insane speed, agility. You and I both simultaneously screamed, "Oh shit!" very fucking loudly at the double. It was essentially a curb stomp, which was one of Mick Moretti's patented moves, but it was essentially a double stomp head first into the apron. And again, maybe Ryan Rapid's just that good at his job that he has even us duped. But from the angle they shot that from, it looked like that dude went head first into that apron for real. And like, we've all obviously like you're a ring announcer, but we've all stubbed our toe or something, or just bumped ourselves on like a ring post or an apron, even just standing around the ring, let alone taking a full on bump. But this guy just went fucking, again, not much room for error, but both these guys phenomenal at their job. And it was just like, not very often these days where I watch wrestling where I'll go, fuck, like I'm wondering if people are actually hurt. But that spot was like, man, it was gnarly, but it was fucking awesome at the same time. It was beautifully done. There was a very like super duper indie-refic spot where they did like the Frankensteiner / Hurricanrana that was absolutely beautiful. Rapid had a ridiculously indie-refic but yet good sell. And when I say indie-refic, I don't mean it as a bad thing. Like, it's just, it is what it is, like in modern wrestling. But these guys did a great job of blending the spots and the storytelling, and it was all just layered, and it was just, the pacing was beautiful. What the fuck do I know, right? But again, it was just, I did enjoy it, even though it was a bit more spotty than it was more spotty than I was expecting, which I don't know why, because I know what Ryan Rapid's capable of, and obviously Mick Moretti's one of my all-time favourite wrestlers in Australia ever, but it was just like, holy shit. But no, it was a great match. And again, there was a spot where Moretti no-sold a Canadian Destroyer, which usually if I was just watching like an indie match, and again, this comes down to the psychology and the character work, because you see it all the time, and you kind of cringe. But Mick Moretti did like the whole thing where he faded back up and he like snapped his own neck like back into place, very like Joker-esque kind of thing, and it worked. It made a lot of sense, and it popped me, which again, maybe I'm just biased because I'm a fan of Mick Moretti, but I feel like anyone else doing that spot, and even you said, you were just like, you're lucky you're Mick Moretti. Like, and again, what the fuck does our opinions mean? But I was just like, it's a testament to how well Mick does as a character that we're like, hey, if anyone else had done that, I wouldn't have liked it. But for some reason, just the way Mick brushed it off, it was just, it worked. And it just worked really well. But
saying that, if Frankie Grime did it,
oh yeah, shout out Frankie Grime,
I reckon
the
that
Alpha
would be
Strain.
sick. That'd actually still be sick, because like, just the way he started getting super creepy lately, it was just like that. I could see him doing it, and
it's one of those things, right? And I don't want to go into a rant, but how many people make no-selling part of their gimmick because they've got to look strong? Like they basically go and watch old school Hulk Hogan tapes, and they're like, "Oh well, I've got to kick out of your finisher and then Hulk up and hit my finisher." And it's just like, no, dude, like you're not the Undertaker, you're not Hulk Hogan, this and that. But Mick Moretti obviously honed his craft for many, many, many years now. And we've seen him on multiple occasions where and he even kind of did it here before he got up. Because at first I thought he actually counted, which I think he may have slightly done it, but we've seen him handstand out of pile driver attempts and stuff. So the fact that Rapid kind of went fully over with the Canadian, it was like, it was enough to be like, oh, fuck, there was impact. But then I keep calling him Nick. Mick pops up, kind of cracks his neck back into place. It was just, I did enjoy it. I'm ranting. But Rapid over clean with the GTS after kicking out of everything that Moretti could throw at him, including a curb stomp dead center of the ring. And in saying that, and Mick Moretti as well, but he does slam and stuff, so he is in the ACT, and hopefully we'll get to one of those shows and see him again soon. But really want to see Ryan Rapid in our neck of the woods at some point for a slam, or, maybe an Extreme Capital Wrestling, just because selfishly I'd love to call his match, but as a play-by-play commentator. But no, definitely, I feel like Ryan Rapid is. I hate saying like untapped potential or hidden gems because it's such a cliche thing to say. And again, like despite the fact that this is our podcast, I don't want to sit here and be like, I think my opinion is important in this and this. But like, no, I think this guy he's the shit and he needs to be seen by more people. I don't know why. Maybe it's a choice on his end. I don't know because I don't know him personally. But he needs to be booked in fucking Sydney and Newcastle and Queensland and definitely our neck of the woods. As I said, we live, near Wagga Wagga, but we're based in ACT for our wrestling stuff. Yeah. And I'd love to see him live and in colour. And I know that, especially if you're there as my colour commentator or even just as a ring announcer, getting a front row seat, essentially watching one of his matches for free. Why the hell not, right? But no, definitely want to see him in our neck of the woods. And they have announced that MCW Vendetta will be Saturday, September 7th. That's a couple of months away, so hopefully by the time that rolls around, we might be able to get the funds again, or hopefully Stream Horizon will do the pre-order bonus again, or hey, maybe they'll give us a hookup for talking about us on here. Who knows? But I did link their website in the Michael Lee episode, and I'll do it here as well. But 100% free to sign up. All the OPW stuff's there for free. They're actually adding more stuff. They just added the Bret Hart Q&A session, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of Bret, he is someone that I have studied a lot when it comes to the actual wrestling, and I'm probably gonna watch the interview at some point, to be honest, because it's fucking free, so why not, right? Sure. But yeah, MCW shows, they've got, I don't know if they've got the entire MCW back catalogue, because I haven't dug that deep, but they've got quite a big chunk of, I guess this era, and it's all there, and I think they're like $10 a pop, and like, that's not just the rent, like, that's to own. You can watch it over and over and over again. But yeah, of course, as I said, so $5 here for the pre-order bonus for the Ballroom Brawl, as I said at the start of the episode. So good that even Mama Crossfire was like, hell yeah, and my brother helped her with technology and set the laptop up to the TV and yada, yada, yada. But no, just great match, fantastic match. As I said, super indie-rific at times, but in the best way possible. Again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm a fucking expert and claim to be Dave Meltzer-esque, but I get so mad at modern day indie wrestling where it's just spot. But these guys, they did some gnarly spots, but they mixed the character work and the storytelling, and I think I've said that like 4 or 5 times now, but I just want to reiterate that I'm not trying to. I did fuck with this match, as the kids say. It was chef's kiss. It really was. Yeah. But match 4 was the 8-man tag match, and we had the Natural Classics, Tome and Stevie Philippe, Tommy Knight and Caveman Ugg versus the Icons, Slex, Adam Brooke, fellas, Rocky Monero, and their partner was Jarvis. This one confused. This is where look. I get what they were going for, but this confused the fuck out of me, and especially as someone that is a half-assed attempt at a graphic designer. Like the actual look of it was awesome, but it said the Icons with Jarvis, so I was waiting for someone else to come out and join them. It should have said the Icons and Jarvis, or the Icons plus Jarvis, not... Look, that's just such a small thing, but that really threw me off because I was so confused, and you were as well. We're like, who's the partner? And then he took his shirt off and he was standing there and like, wait, what? But yeah, it's fine. we realized after the fact that the actual match graphic did say Icons with Jarvis, but we must have missed that for looking away for like 2 seconds. But yeah, I was just so confused, and I was just like, this makes no sense. But it's just, again, I'm ADHD, also legally blind, which doesn't fucking help. And I was so confused because they're like, the announcer's like, the Icons with Jarvis. And I was like, that's 4 versus 3. Where's the other person? And then, oh no, Jarvis is the 4th person. And it literally threw us off for like a solid 2 minutes. We were so confused. And then, yeah, but no, the match starts anyway. The winners at the end were, via DQ, by the way, the Natural Classics, Tommy Knight and Caveman Ugg. And there was lots of people in this match, which, Nova Lee, you were familiar of, which, minus that little bit of confusion, made us both very happy, because you were like, hell yeah, I love Ugg, I love Knights. And we've seen the Natural Classics live a handful of times now. So it's one of the very few people that you have seen live, because obviously they did the Impact shows and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, as we mentioned moments ago, Rocky Monero, who got involved in our opening contest, he's in this match. You didn't know who Rocky was, but because you were basically fresh.
I knew of him.
You knew of him, but because he was fresh in your mind from the little shenanigans at the start, you were like, oh, it's the guy. The guy from earlier.
Yeah.
But it was good. Great match. They started the match with some old school wrestling here, and this is where, again, I'm not an expert by any means, but this is the shit that got me. It was the oohs and the ahs. And usually the heel and the face takes turns doing that, but because there was 4 people on each team, each member of the team was taking turns for the oohs and the ahs, and they were milking it. But again, in the best way possible. Yeah. It was great. They built it. The fans really making it clear which side they were on. That's what I'll give to this show. Grant, as I said, like I try my best to keep up with MCW because I'm just a big fan of the majority of the roster, and every time I find someone new, they instantly make me a fan as well. Like they're just phenomenal talent in that neck of the woods. But every match here, even with the couple of people that we'd only seen bits and pieces of, or there was a couple of people in the Rumble that I actually hadn't seen at all, but the fan reaction in MCW very much like solidified, I guess, like very obvious. And even like, I hate using the term smart marks because at the end of the day, I'm just a fucking mark and I'm proud to be a mark. Like people think mark's a dirty word. I strongly disagree, and I've ranted about that many times, but even the smart marks in the crowd kind of playing along. Like, if I was at that show, I would have booed Slex and Brooksy out of the building. Yeah. But mark my words, I'll be the first to buy an Adam Brooks or a Slex t-shirt after the fact, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. My point is, like, the fans really getting over who's good, who's bad.
It adds to the ambiance.
And this is where, like, not to go fucking too deep and sentimental, this is why I miss Kyle, and I wish we had more fans like Kyle, because that's what I loved about Impact, right? Mm-hmm. You are, and this is not even a pun, because one of his nicknames used to be Die Hard, you're a die-hard Eddie Edwards fan. Yes. And you were so excited to meet him at the meet and greet on the Sunday before the Aussie Showcase. But within the realm of those 2 shows, you were very strongly chanting, Eddie sucks, because it's just like, it's yeah, right? And even the second night where, because it happened just outside of Wagga, I had my house keys in my pocket at a wrestling show, at an Impact wrestling show of all things, which is fucking wild to me. You were like, fuck it, on the second night. You're like, I think I can just wear my hoodie. And we're like, it's fucking June, it's cold. Why not?
You went down and then met Piers Austin. He's like, I like your hoodie. And it's like,
but like
you I feel like I'm wearing my pajamas and I feel
You've got a couple
dirty,
of different hoodies. You specifically wore your Boston Celtics hoodie because you're a Boston Celtic fan, but because Eddie's from Boston, you specifically wore that. You're like, oh, this is my Eddie Edwards merch for the night. But even when he comes out, the fact that you were wearing it and because you're up in the rafters, you were still chanting, Eddie sucks.
People couldn't see me. It's fine.
But no, I really enjoyed this match. It was simple. It was effective. Everyone, again, look strong, brother. But there was miscommunication early on between Ugg and Knight, which allowed the heel team with the Icons plus Jarvis to take over. Again, classic wrestling build. The heels take control. They dissect. There was a dive spot that almost went wrong, but that was just due to too much athleticism. I don't know how having too much athleticism is a bad thing, but I can't even remember who it was because it happened that quick that I didn't get to write down, but I was just like, I wrote down in my notes, goddamn. Yes. All I remember was one of them was on the top rope, and then they were millimeters away from landing on the fucking security railing, and I was like, holy fuck. But again, risk, reward, professional wrestling, is what it is, but I was just like, holy shit. But yeah, there was a series of low blows from the entire Icon side on the babyface side, causing the match to be thrown out. The beatdown continues, and then there was a surprise appearance which popped both of us quite a lot. The Pariah, who in kayfabe had been taken out by Icons, of course. Look, again, I hate to be a smart mark, but they were over in the US, so they were written out of MCW via this, and it was fucking the pop that these guys got when their music hit. Phenomenal. And again, we've actually had the pleasure of seeing both of them live.
Yeah.
Even in the Rumble, and we'll get to it. I can't remember. I think I wrote notes about when the Pereira came out. I'm fucking hoping I did. Anyway, but even in the Rumble, like the little facials when they're in the corners and stuff was great. But like these guys have it, right? And it's one of those things where we're like, well, how do you describe what it is? But I don't know. They just fucking have it. Like just the charisma that they exude. And I think is it Gabriel? Because it's Gabriel Eros and Eli Theseus, right? That's their names. I think it's Gabriel that's the more charismatic of the two.
He's the one that like looks
and that's not to say that Eli isn't, because he does like the dances and stuff. 100% charisma. Definitely. But just the facial expressions that Gabriel does. Man, the first time I saw him wrestle, I was like, this dude's going to be amazing.
Still marking out for the fact he got in Michael Lee's face all like cracked out and shit, and Michael Lee's just trying to stay serious, fucking doing his announcement. Props to you,
and again,
brother.
like not to like, you know, talk ourselves up and, you know, name drop that we talked to Michael Lee, but go back and listen to that conversation. He talked about how now we essentially challenged him now, because he's like, every time he announces the Pereira, they've worked together a handful of times and they've just got that charisma to where they kind of, you know, they kind of know what they're doing. And obviously they're baby faces here, but they were heels on the OPW show. But as they were circling him and whatnot, as I said, there was that kind of thing where Michael Lee was looking at the crowd, but you can just see that corner of the eye where they lock in the peripherals and it's like, all right, on. And he said every time he does their announcements, he tries to up himself, but he's like, I don't know how I'm going to up this one. And you and I were like, well, you know what you've got to do? You just have to do it. You just got to do better. But no, like just the facial expressions.
Like, it's not to go too off topic, but yeah, what it kind of reminds me of is like sharks like circling their prey kind of thing, and that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, oh, it's so good, like heel vibes.
And this, like, for whatever reason, like some
great character work.
I don't know if anyone from MCW is gonna fucking listen to this, but if for whatever reason someone from MCW listens to this, like I hate trying to sound like I know it all, but it is those little things, right? That's why we love like The Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, you know, John Cena, like all of these people, like Hulk Hogan, like, yeah, like they're all larger-than-life characters and, you know, they're this and that, but it was always the in-between bits and the character work that really draws you in and just, man, like both these guys, and again, there's been rumors that that's why they were overseas, that they may or may not have been signed somewhere. We don't know where, and again, we're personally hoping that it actually is TNA, just because I'd love to see them mix it up with like ABC and stuff like that. NXT. But I could 100% see the Pereira in NXT. And again, this is me just being a mark, but currently I said this before the draft that with the shake-up, I wanted to see the Good Brothers specifically end up in NXT. Lo and behold, 2 weeks after the draft, the Good Brothers ended up in NXT. But I could see the Good Brothers wrestle. I should say I can see the Pereira wrestling a team the caliber of the Good Brothers. I genuinely could. And the stuff that they'd learned from those guys as well. But like, even the current tag champs, right? Yeah. Fraser and Axiom. I could see it. Tony D'Angelo. We even said this as a joke. We're like, we could
the Italians.
But not even that. We could see the Pereira like joining fucking the family and having like almost like a super family of like two nationalities like uniting to take over NXT. And
I'd be sick.
But no, like 100%. Like, I don't know. Again, this is all speculation and word of mouth amongst people that I have talked to. And again, we don't know for sure, but the speculation is that they were at least having a look while they were over there. I don't know what they were doing. All I know is what I saw on social media was that they were pranking Buddy Murphy constantly, along with Rhea Ripley, making Buddy Murphy's life a living hell. But you saw the videos, but Buddy was loving it. He really did enjoy having them there. You could tell in the videos, but no, like I'd hate to see them go just from a selfish level because I want to keep seeing them live. But I 100% think that they can, and I think that eventually they will. Like, but seeing them back here in MCW, the pop that they got here was just awesome. And then basically the payoff is the Pereira call Rocky Monero a bitch, and they announce that they're in the Ballroom Brawl match later on. And you and I did, even while watching this, say, why didn't they just leave him for a surprise to be in the Rumble? It's a Rumble. But then we're like, no, it makes sense because, you know, the Icons were the ones that took him out. And then at the same time, it's a Rumble, right? It's still going to be good. So you build excitement now for well, the Icons are running away now, but, you know, what
How
are
they
they
going to run away in the Rumble?
Yeah, and it's
being suspense, like it's smart.
And obviously the only one that was actually in the Rumble was Jarvis, even though he's not a part of the Icons officially. But, you know, he's a member of the heel group. But no, it was a massive pop, both from our couch and from the fans. I feel like, again, we said we weren't going to rant too much, but fucking here we are. But match number 5, number 1 contendership for the MCW Women's Championship. We had Cherry Stevens versus Kingsley, and your winner via pinfall was Kingsley. And we came back from a very quiet intermission, and this was my only like real like complaint. And again, I don't run a wrestling company. I don't run production. I know even doing like post-production after the fact is stressful as fucking dealing with that.
Yeah.
Does my brain in. So I can't imagine running live. I've never done it live, right? But the fact that, and again, we were at home, so, oh my God, we're sitting at home and we have all this stuff that we could do to entertain ourselves during the intermission, but we were just basically like, I got up, I made a drink, I went to the bathroom, I come back. It was just dead quiet on the screen. Like, there was no music, there was no, like, match playing.
Or countdown.
Or anything like that, like they do for, like, PWA and stuff like that. And again, like, this is first world problems, right? But I was just like, fuck, it's quiet. I was like, and I don't want to go do something because I don't know, like, when it's going to come back. And I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes and then, like, the countdown popped up or something.
Yeah.
But we were sitting there for, like, 10 minutes and we're just like, the fuck do we do? Like,
yeah.
Like, we've been, you know, I was going to say we've been married for 5 years. We've been together for 5.5 years. I don't think in our entire relationship have we ever had such an awkward silence.
Yeah.
Because it was literally just staring at the TV like, is it, like, is there something, like, happening? Or, because even, like, when we watched World Series, right, you could still hear the chatter of the fans and stuff in the background, and it was just
weird.
nothing. And I was just like, oh, but again, that's just mine. Like, again, if anyone from MCW hears that, I'm not shitting on the production. It was a very awkward silence, and it was so weird because, like, again, like, you and I, like, when we first met, like, not to take this off track, but when we first met, we were talking every other day on the phone for 9 hours. But for 10 minutes, we were almost speechless because we were just looking at the TV like, what's happening?
Did you put on some bangers?
Like, but no, we come back from intermission. Cherry Stevens makes her way out. She gets interrupted before her, like, entrance is finished by Jarvis, who says that Erica Reed isn't here tonight. She's not medically cleared, which they did announce before that, saying that they announced before the show saying that, hey, Erica Reed won't be there and we'll address the championship on the show. And Jarvis comes out and says that, hey, Cherry will still have an opponent, Q Kingsley, who originally had a very positive reaction, but instantly she flipped it. It was brilliant. You and I were popping very hard. Hey, let me sing. And it was almost like, again, I'm going to sound like a fucking mark here, just using like WWE people or ex-WWE people, but it really reminded me almost of either The Rock when he was doing his rock concerts or Elias when he was doing the concerts as a heel. She was like, oh, I'm going to sing this. And she was like, you know what? You don't deserve to hear my song. And just flipped him instantly. And it was like, okay, so now we've got a heel and we've got a baby face. Excellent.
There was also some shades of Jillian in there as well.
You know what's funny about that? And again, like, off topic, we don't want to rant too much. We want to condense this to, you know, at least an hour episode. So we're going to go too overboard as we have in some of our reviews. But Jillian Hall apparently, I've never met her. I don't know personally. Apparently she actually is a really good singer.
So she just had to sing.
And she had to make herself sing that bad. But apparently that's why it was extra bad, because she literally had to force it and go over the top with it.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
But yeah, that's a thing from what I've heard on like podcasts with Conrad and Jim Ross and Eric Bischoff and people. So obviously they were there, so they would know, you know, if they've heard her. Because like you and I, like I don't. So during like ring crew and stuff, I'll like set up the locker room. Yeah. But once people are in there, when I'm only doing commentary, I don't like being in the locker room. Like I'll get dressed and stuff, but because and maybe this is just a me issue and I need to sort myself. But because I'm not actually wrestling, I'm like, I feel like I don't belong in there. But like, obviously when you are in the locker room and like you're walking around, like you're just singing your songs and you're kind of getting yourself typed and shit. I'm sure she's been walking around singing like some sort of random shit while she's like, in the middle of the day and someone's like, oh, well, she can really sing. And Vince is like, yeah, well, that's too bad, pal. We're going to make her sing like shit. But no, Kingsley came out, was very brilliant. Very quick match, but both competitors got their characters over and essentially, got their shit in, brother, or in this case, sister. And as I said, Kingsley went over, which was a nice little swerve here because Kingsley, Cherry was meant to challenge for the title before Erica was not cleared. And now you and I, we both kind of had the same thought of, oh, what if? Because originally we thought Jarvis was going to cost the match. But it came with Kingsley kicked the ropes. It was essentially a low blow to Cherry Stevens, but because it's part of the ring, the referee can be like, hey, that's not on. But the damage was still done without the disqualification actually being there. Hits the code breaker, 1, 2, 3. Kingsley is the number one contender now to Erica Reed. But this is where you and I were kind of on the same wavelength of a nice redemption arc. Because Jarvis is a former MCW Women's Champion. Nice. And he was very heavy on getting that point over. And he was, again, repetition is a very big one in promos, especially as a heel. And I lost count of how many times he said it. Like, just over and over. And then the amount of times that commentary repeated it as well. But I smell, and I think everyone smells it, a very good redemption arc here for Cherry Stevens.
Yes.
Because she was fucking screwed every way from Sunday because she had a championship match lined up. Champ gets injured. Jarvis goes, nah, you're going to face this person. And then they cheated to win, and now she's lost her shot.
Yeah. That's what I
And I can see Cherry being built up. And I tell you what, I don't know when or where or if they're going to stretch it for 6 months or if they're going to stretch it a whole year. But when Cherry Stevens versus Erica Reed eventually happens, and you'd assume... Well, no, with all due respect to Kingsley, I feel like Erica's going to retain over her. But, hey, maybe Kingsley beats Erica and then Cherry takes the title off Kingsley because Kingsley cheated to beat her to begin with. But anyway, regardless of how it happens, when Cherry Stevens inevitably wins the MCW Women's Championship, I feel like it's going to be a very good payoff.
Yeah. I don't know, it'd be good.
Again, that's all speculation. MCW could be like, fuck you, brother. You ain't getting what you want. But, like, I feel like the scratch and the clawing from Cherry is really going to get her over as that sympathetic babyface because, like, she's a fantastic character. And again, we've watched her all the way from the prefects to where she is now. And from day one, she's been a phenomenal professional wrestler. But obviously, she just keeps getting better and better, which, practice makes perfect. Go figure. But building this, like, sympathy arc to go along with getting her character over, I feel like it's going to be an awesome payoff. But Mrs Crossfire... we're up to the main event. Match 6 / the main event is the MCW Ballroom Brawl. We're going to rapid fire through all of the entrants in one go, and then we're going to hit the clip notes and that. But obviously, since you're the ring announcer, and to give you something to do, so I'm not just ranting for this entire time, you have the notes in front of you. We're going to have you, as the ring announcer, go through entrance 1 to 20 on this MCW Ballroom Brawl.
Okay, all right.
I believe I've given you the entire thing of who won and this and that.
Yep. Okay. So am I just going through now 1 to 20 and then we just talk about
the top of your notes all the way down to the bottom. So it's match 6 / main event.
Okay. So 2024 Ballroom Brawl match. And then do I say the winner?
Yes.
Okay. And the winner was Ricky South. So now what we'll do is we'll rapid fire through the entire entrance from 1 to 20, and then we'll touch on some of the highlights in our opinions, respectively. Alrighty. So number 1 was The Tuck Man. Number 2 was Mitch Waterman. Number 3 was Jake Taylor. Number 4 was Jesse Lambert. Number 5 was Carlo Cannon. Number 6 was Funtime Phil. Number 7 was Emmond Asmon. Number 8 was Stevie Philippe. Number 8. No, that was number 8, sorry. Number 9 was Ryan Rapid. Number 10 was Tone Philippe. Number 11 was Jarvis. Number 12 was Edward Dusk. Number 13 was Lucky O'Leary. Number 14 was Marky Broderick. Shots.
Squats.
Everybody! Close enough. I said it earlier, right?
Yes, you did. Number 15.
Maybe I've just got shots on my mind. Sorry. Number 15. Sensational Shen. Number 16. Gabriel Eros. I think I butchered it. Eros.
Yes.
Gabriel Eros. Sorry. Fucking.
We're live, pal.
Shut up. Number 17. Ricky South. Number 18. Eli Theseus. Eli Theseus. Number 19. Robbie Thorpe. And number 20. Delta.
I don't know how Ricky South's going to feel about you going, Ricky South. Like a bogan when he's
I don't know. He's not.
Where did that come from?
He's not even not. But I was just trying to just go through.
And by the way,
I didn't get to practice any of these, so that's why I'm butchering.
By the way,
Sorry,
Sensational Shen, your check is in the mail for gimmick infringement, brother. Follow me on Instagram at sensational_LJ.
I butchered a lot of those because I was just not prepared.
And I didn't put this in my notes because I somehow didn't catch this while live. But while listening to Wrestle Radio Australia's review that they just did a couple of days ago as we record this, so I'm stealing it straight from Todd, and I can't think of the other fella's name, so fucking sue me. It's not Lachlan. Lachlan wasn't on there. The other guy that's not Lachlan, sorry, they're never going to hear this anyway. But they pointed out that Barry, or Lucky O'Leary, actually came out at number 13, as you said. I didn't put 2 and 2 together while we were watching that I was like, well, if you didn't come out last, what's the best spot? And Lucky 13. So they're just not in my notes, but it's fresh in my mind, and that just, you know what? I'm assuming it was intentional. If it wasn't, then happy accident, but on the 99.99% chance that was intentional, and it probably was, kudos to you, MCW. It's the little things. It's like when Ty Dillinger came out at number 10.
Yes.
And then a year after he was meant to be number 10, but someone took him out and Kevin Owens took his spot and da-da-da-da. But yeah.
I feel like I butchered that, but anyway.
Honestly, I thought you did pretty good for some of them, and I liked the way that you were fun time feeling Carlo Cannon and the Tuckman, Mitch Waterman.
Yeah.
Of course, Tuckman, we'll come out to our notes. Tuckman did a full-on Bill Goldberg-style entrance.
He did the best entrance.
Music and all, comes down from the bar, double-fisting some beers. They said on commentary what the beers were. I think they said Hawkers is a local Melbourne beer. If I butchered that, I am not sorry, because I'm very picky when it comes to beer anyway, so... Hey, Hawkers, hook me up and I'll put you over if I like it. No, you come down...
Only if you like it, though.
Yeah, exactly. No, you come down doing the Goldberg... Like, music and all to the Goldberg entrance. Like, popped me. And then, of course, as we said, Mitch Waterman comes out. And as we mentioned for the match of the week, Mitch Waterman... Waterman... That's some high quality H2O. Waterboy. Mitch Waterman won the 2021 MCW Ballroom Brawl matchup. So great 2 to start here. I popped super hard for Jesse Lambert and Carlo Cannon. These were 2 that you weren't super familiar with. You've seen a bit of Jesse Lambert via the socials and stuff, and watching him go from an L plater to a P plater, and actually the current EPW heavyweight champion now, which is crazy. And they got a little thing going on with Damian Slater saying that professional wrestling is officially dead and this and that and whatever. This, that, and the third, as I like to say. But no, Carlo Cannon popped me really big, and he's another one whose name you've heard. But as we were watching this Rumble, you were actually going through and following some of these people I don't think you followed all of them, but you followed a good chunk
ones
of them.
that I liked,
Carlo actually was one of the ones that you went through and was like, oh, this guy's cool. And you followed him because, of course, Carlo, the head trainer at Vicious Pursuit, he's done a lot over in Malaysia and Singapore for wrestling. He's actually wrestling at Slam on July 20th against Luke Watts, which, again, my mother and brother was going to be at that. I won't be because I still don't have the stitches out of my eye just yet. Eye appointments 4 days after that event. So, anyway, we're hoping to go to the Slam event in November. So hopefully Carlo will be at that one because I'd love to see him live because I've never seen him live, although I've watched God knows how many of his matches. But I didn't know Carlo was going to be in this match. So popped me really well. There was a spot that did pop us both, though. Tuckman, of course, doing the Tucky's elbow or the people's elbow.
Yeah.
But he and Jesse Lambert doing a double Tucky's elbow on Jake Taylor with a little shake and bake handshake action in there as well before dropping the elbow, which really got it. And it's good to see Funtime Phil back in NCW here, and even better to see that the Relentless Pro Wrestling Gym was actually a sponsor of this show here for MCW. Like, I don't know the ins and the outs of that because I'm not privy. Some of it may have been a work, some of it may have been a shoot, but obviously there was some falling outs there, and it's good to see that seems to be no hard feelings for the most part. But it's really fun. We both pointed this out. It's really crazy to see how far Emin Asman has come in such a short amount of time. And again, someone that we have had the pleasure of getting to see live a couple of times, and it's just insane how much, because obviously he was Emin the Kid when we first discovered him, and now he's evolved into this not new character, but a more, I guess, more mature version of his character, and he's absolutely killing it. And of course, if you guys haven't seen the clip of Carlo Cannon fucking suplexing Emin like almost out of his shoes and almost out of the ring, go find that clip from years ago. And of course, because of the history, Carlo and Emin here work in the early goings of this match together. Tome Philippe, when he came in, gave a couple of sexy tiger bombs, but the first one that he hit on Ryan Rapid specifically was just chef's kiss. Ryan Rapid accidentally eliminates himself from too much momentum, and again, so much stuff happening so quickly, I didn't get to see, who Rapid actually took out in the process, who he eliminated along with himself. But yeah, Ryan Rapid, it was the big story, accidentally eliminated himself. Mikey Broderick held Lucky O'Leary over his shoulder for probably about 20 or 30 seconds with a squat, like fireman's carry, full squat all the way down. Again, squats. Like,
or as I was saying, because we're fucking alcoholic, shots.
No, but
shots.
You and I were both watching that, and obviously, we're both trying to get our fitness on track, but we saw that, with how much gravity he had down on that squat with Lucky, and obviously Lucky was, posting, but the fact that he's got a full-grown man still with that weight over his shoulder as low as he did, fuck that, man. Fuck that. But no, solid effort. Definitely, I thought it was worth making a note of. But very shortly after this impressive feat, Jarvis, actually, of all people, eliminated Mikey Broderick, getting him some heat, which, very well done. Nova Lee popped when the Sensational Shen did come out, because he's one of the few that actually follows you back on your ring announcing account. So shout out to the Sensational Shen. Gabriel Eros hit a modified standing stalling suplex / jackhammer combination, but I don't know if it was intentional or if he just protected his opponent, but it looked fucking sick. Looked awesome. Ricky South eliminated both of the Philippe brothers by himself. The Pereira gave Jarvis a nice little beatdown, and this is where Rocky Monero and Adam Brooks would come out to cause a distraction so that Ricky South and Robbie Thorpe could throw out both members of the Pereira at the same time. But again, I didn't make a note of it, but I really should have. But the little stuff that they were doing, like how Eli was doing the sexy Greek dance, Gabriel selling being hurt in the corner, but still got a half-ass smile, and he's moving his head side to side along with him. It was almost like he was drunk because he was selling that he was groggy, but he was just that's my boy, and he's just dancing along very, very subtly with him. It popped me way more than it should have. And again, shit like that probably isn't even planned. It's just them having a fucking fun time, and I love it so much. Like
on
the
Uzo.
But yeah, no, just the parade again. Eli, don't get this twisted. Phenomenal fucking wrestler. Awesome. But just the facial expressions and just the little cadences that Gabriel have. He's just, as I said, since the very first time I saw him, and every time I see both of them, they get better and better, but they just suck me in with all the little shenanigans that they do. I really, really appreciate it. Fans went absolutely nuts when Delta came out as the final entrant in this match. Ricky South tried to square up with Delta, which harnessed some "you fucked up" chants from the crowd. Yes. You fucked up. There was a nice cheeky little spot where Delta and Edward Dusk hit simultaneous spears on Ricky South and Robbie Thorpe respectively. And the final four was Delta, Dusk, Thorpe and South. He's had a bit of a Mike Tyson lips there. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, Robbie Thorpe, though, had an amazing save to being eliminated. And it didn't help him because it was almost like a Kofi Kingston moment where he did this super spectacular save and then Delta just kicked him and he hit the floor anyway. But by the tips of his toes on the bottom rope, literally we're watching that and we're like, what would happen if we're like, first of all, how? Second of all, imagine if the rope snapped right now. like he was dangling on for dear life by the tips of his toes on the bottom rope, and it was
his tippy toes.
It was a gift. You know,
it was a gift.
Pun not intended. But it was a gift. It was fucking awesome to see. It popped us both to no end. But as I said, Delta went give him a big old fucking stomp, kicked him onto the side anyway.
You're out.
And then Ricky South eliminates Edward Dusk, and then our final two, if you've done the math, Ricky South, Delta. Delta ultimately hits a spear and an F5, but Ricky South reversed it to throw her over the top rope. And again, this is one of the very small things that did kind of make me go, Now, I understand, Delta is leaving and she couldn't win, but they had us believing for a second that she was going to win. But the fact that, again, I'm not an expert, but the fact that Delta's meant to be this monster babyface, and I know, again, Ricky is double her size in terms of height and stuff, but essentially as the heel, basically no-sold her finish to launch her over the top, just kind of irked me a little bit. But again, it's little things, shit happens. Was a great match, was a great Rumble. And of all the people that were in this match, and I even said this to you while we were watching the Ricky South versus Mikey Broderick match, I said, and I was wrong, I said Mikey Broderick's going to go over Ricky South clean, but Ricky South's going to win the Ballroom Brawl. Ricky South went over Broderick clean, but I was right in Ricky South, because to me, I looked at the whole people that were in that match, and to me, I was like, who I knew was in that match. And then even as we went further, I was like, I think Ricky South is going to win it.
Yeah. And
he did, and in my opinion, probably the right person to win it. But yeah, just the way that the finish was done, I was kind of like, Ricky. But look, again, I'm not a match agent. I don't work for MCW. What the fuck do I know? But no, it was a great match. Right winner in my opinion. But they did sucker us in for a second because I was like, is she actually going to win? And, is this going to thing? But, I don't do ratings as such because, again, I don't want to sound like a bootleg Dave Meltzer because, apparently, especially when 99% of the time I find most of his ratings to be fucking stupid anyway. Like, Kurt Angle's never had a 5-star match. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels was 4.75, but it wasn't 5 stars because it was fuck off. But Kenny Omega and Okada was 7 stars. I don't know, even though, to me, John Cena and AJ Styles was still a better match in 2017 than that was. But hey, I'm just a mark for the Fed, so fucking sue me. But if I was to give a number, I'd say honestly this show was probably a 7 out of 10. Which you're laughing there. Wasn't even intended. Follow Cook Show Trevor on Instagram. He has no idea that I exist, but I love his videos with the pizza cooking videos, and they always end up with 7 out of 10s, and he always gives legitimate reasons of, it could have been this and could have been that. It should be a 10 out of 10, but because of this. No, I think, honestly, nothing spectacular happened in this show, but it was a great show. It was a Rumble show. It did everything it needed to do.
Still well-rounded.
Set up a lot of stuff, and honestly, I would have paid. So as I said, most of the previous shows for MCW, I think, are about $10 on this thing. Some of them are $14.99, so $15. Like, for $15 to watch at home, I still would have paid that if I had the $15. But the fact that I literally only paid $5 for a wrestling show this good overall, like, that's fucking mind-boggling to me. Like, honestly, kudos to MCW and kudos to Stream Horizon for their awesome site. Because, again, I'm not affiliated with any of them. And, again, if for whatever reason people that work for MCW listen to this, they're probably going to get mad because it might seem like I'm shitting on it in some ways, but it's just everyone has an opinion. I would have done stuff differently. Everyone would have done stuff differently. But as an overall, I really did enjoy this show. And for $5, $5 I was very thoroughly sports entertained, as you were as well, Miss Nova Lee. And
definitely.
No, I definitely not complaining, but, you know, insert me, people bitching at me because I said sports entertainment, not pro wrestling. It's the same fucking thing. I've gone on that rant plenty of time. But like, no, I won't lie. As I said, for a moment there, I was like, what if Delta actually wins this? And I don't know if you saw this. I did send it to you, but I spam you with about 100 reels a day.
Yeah, I got oversensitized.
I watched it. I think it was about 3 days ago as we're recording this. I think, what is today? Today's Saturday. I think it was 2 days. I think it was Thursday they dropped it. It might have been Wednesday. But they actually did a video after the show went actually like off the air properly, and it was just a live audience. Delta got back in the ring. She didn't say, she may have said stuff, I don't know. But the clip they showed, she didn't say anything. She just kind of got up in the ring and, you know, posed and stuff. A lot of the roster stood on the stage and gave her a standing ovation and a, you know, round of applause, whatever you want to call it. The fans very much rightfully so. Again, tongue-tied, ADHD. I'm trying to talk and the words are moving quicker than I can get them out of my mouth. The fans rightfully so chanting, "Thank you, Delta." But that begs the question, and we kind of touch on it, but where do you think she's going? Do you think she's going to WWE?
Yeah.
Because there has been a few things, and one of them, PW Insider, did do it. And again, like, you know, there is people that work for PW Insider that have had decent sources, but again, I don't like looking at them because for the most part, they go on their show and they say, "Oh, I'd like to see this or I'd like to see that," but then they sign like in a roundabout way try and say that, "Oh, trust me, brother, that's what's gonna happen," rather than just say,
"You know why?
It's a prediction."
You know why I think that? Go back and look at whose face they show the most when they're having the WWE tryouts.
This is very true.
Whose face is very prominent. And I feel like it's WWE's way of saying, get used to this fucking face because we want her.
But honestly though, if you go back...
That's what I'm thinking.
If you go back and you watch the clip they did show from the tryouts in Perth for Elimination Chamber, every single person in that clip, I could see in NXT. I could see on the... Again... or air quotes on an audio podcast, I could see them on the main roster. I could see every single one of them there. But Delta was another one. Like I feel like she got the match with, you know, Jordan Grace at Starcast. So there's eyes on her in all different directions. Yeah. But I will say, she's obviously announced that, you know, her last match is going to be against Dean Brady, her brother, in RCW, which is fucking awesome. But she did, when she announced that, hey, this match with Dean is going to be my last match, she's like, I can't really say much, but I am going overseas. 9 out of 10 times, that means WWE.
Yeah.
Because there's been plenty of times where people have gone to Impact and it's like, oh, hey guys, I'm going over here. But the fact that she can't, you know, quote unquote, legally talk about certain things or, you know, whatever the reason is, to me, that screams the Fed.
And as well as with, like, WWE, a lot of the time they are good for surprises. But, yeah, just going back to that, just seeing her face so prominently there when they kept showing, like, the fucking, like, tryouts, I feel like, you know, this chick could be the next Rhea. Should get amongst it.
This is the thing, right? And it makes me sound like such a fucking mark, but I said at the start of the episode, I 100% could literally, as we're sitting here now, I could see Delta versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, definitely.
I could literally see it happening. Like, I don't, And I don't see them if she does go to the Fed. Obviously, they might not do it straight away, but it's almost inevitable, I feel.
I just thought of someone like her against Perez, even like. Oh,
yeah, again though, like
so good.
Her and Roxanne both very short, about the same size,
I
but still
thought,
very different.
I thought she was tall. In my head, I'm painting her as this big fucking behemoth.
But that's
so
the point.
You keep saying that she's short, and I was like, I don't see that.
And when I say this, I don't mean that in a mean way. Because I've never seen her live. But I look at Delta very much like I look at Taz in ECW. If you watch an ECW clip with Taz...
Short, but powerful.
Bam Bam Bigelow towers over him, and obviously Bam Bam was a bigger than average man to begin with. But you go back and you watch those Taz versus Bam Bam matches, 9 out of 10 times, you don't actually notice it because Taz is throwing him around like a fucking ragdoll, and that's where, again, Delta, her finisher.
She's real bigger than life. She's big. She's tall.
Ricky South is so probably, double her size almost, or maybe not double, but well and truly, a couple of, probably almost a foot taller than Delta when you stand them side by side. But she threw Ricky over her shoulders for that F5 like it was fucking nothing, and she's done it to many of people. Like, I think Delta even, I think she even squared up with Gore at some point from memory, or...
yeah, I think she
Gore
did,
or Tommy Knight, or both, I don't know, but... Like, Delta just, she ragdolls motherfuckers. And again, when she faces Rhea, if she faces Rhea, but I feel like it's inevitable if that is where she's going. I'm not saying, I'm not going to sit here and predict that, hey, I think that is going to happen at WrestleMania 41. I'm just saying that I think she's ready. But I think they're going to play on that they've both come through RCW, they've both come through this same system, they're both breaking the mold, and they have very similar styles, right? So I think it's, but no, I think
it's smart.
If when she shows in WWE, but again, it's probably that more that, again, we're going to say if, just for the simple fact of, but if it is WWE, the thing it'll be is when she has whatever her, because they do obviously the different intakes and different classes and stuff for the Performance Center.
Yeah.
It'll be when they have the class and it'll be like introducing da-da-da-da, and it'll probably have her shoot name or whatever, for that class with however many people are in it, but I cannot wait to see that come out.
Yeah,
such and such, part of the fucking Performance Center class of, I don't know if it's going to be 2024 or early next year, but if it comes, say, November, December, whatever, 2024, and they're like, oh, introducing our next fucking recruits.
Or she does what Indy and all them did and was like, I bought a Jeep. Aha. You have got signed. You got that signing bonus.
Yeah, well, I remember because even when
Steph did it, I think.
Steph DeLanda, she did a tryout in the UK, and they even put her they did the Performance Center saying that, hey, this was the class and da, and we had no idea if she'd been signed, if she hasn't, and then obviously COVID kind of screwed that up, and then she was just brought onto TV as Stephanie, and she was part of Indy's bridal party, which was a nice touch because obviously they are best friends in real life, but it was just, no, I cannot wait until I'm scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or X or, whatever, TikTok, and it's introducing the class of insert month here and having, Delta's face pop up in that. It's gonna, so cool. It's gonna be very, and it's gonna sound weird because we've never met her, but I feel like even just as fans, it's gonna be a very emotional time because you've literally watched this person grow, again, in such a short amount of time to where she's at. But, yeah, what about the Pareja, though? Do you think they're going to go?
They're going to go to NXT. I just got that
You reckon
feeling.
they're going to go to NXT?
Yeah.
I see the Pareja.
The only places I could think of that, or they show up fucking with Buddy over in AEW.
See, I could see that, but...
Either way.
Especially at the Aussie Showcase. It still makes me really sad that the Aussie Showcase didn't draw as many fans as it did, but I guess after 2 long days of wrestling, plus the fact that it was in Wagga Wagga, and, ooh, why did they get it? Why don't we get it? Even though we get fucking everything in Sydney and Melbourne. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That one guy that was from Melbourne saying, get used to it because it'll never happen again. Yeah, you're right, it won't because they're not Impact anymore.
Yeah. TNA, brother.
I reckon even if it's not Wagga that they come back to, I reckon they'll come back eventually because this OPW thing's awesome. and their OPW is obviously about to do the MLW show in Ballarat. I could see them coming, maybe not here specifically, but they're going to focus more on regional things, which was their entire business plan. He said not every show will be regional, but most of them will be. But no, I think it's cool. And the eyes that, you know, regardless of whether it didn't draw, that's just a little rant for me, because it just makes me laugh at how fucking like that dude was at the end of the meet and greet. He didn't even go to the Aussie showcase. He's like, I can't go to the showcase because I have to drive all the way back to Melbourne. And well, fucking titty sprinkles to you. Like, it's just so funny. We feel every time we get used to it. Yeah, bro, I have to travel for everything. You can travel for one thing. It's 4.5 hours from Melbourne CBD to Wagga, both by driving and by train, because the train line is direct.
Like, it's like Elimination Chamber fucking ended up in Perth. I was like, fucking oath. Like, we couldn't go to it, but I was like, good on them. They deserve something over there, the poor buggers. They never get much. But yeah.
The point was, the eyes that they did get on them for the Aussie showcase, I could see them in TNA, but I feel like, honestly,
I could see them literally any of them.
Because, like, and again, like, I'm not trying to, you know, put fucking like allegations or anything out there, but like the fact that they were staying with Buddy, the fact that they were staying with Rhea with the star power she has, Rhea, like even with an injury, Rhea has become one of the faces of the entire fucking company. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Grace and Waller, currently one half of the tag team champions. You gotta believe that both of those people have gone, hey, Hunter, Paul, Trips, Mr. Levesque, whatever the fuck they do or don't call him, surely Rhea has
check
gone,
these fucking guys out.
Just gone, look, just keep your eyes on these guys. I don't doubt for a second. Like, but no, 100% I look forward to if/when Delta shows up, and 100% like I think she could go straight to the main roster, but like with her talent. But obviously, because she is like, you know, Australia, I'll still argue that Australia has pound for pound the best wrestlers in the world. That's just, you know, and maybe we're biased.
I feel like we pound for pound go with the UK. The UK has some pretty
the
good
UK is
too.
fucking ridiculous, man. They honestly are. Oof. But man, seeing Delta, I feel like, especially that NXT crowd specifically, is almost perfect for someone like Delta, because she really doesn't need to change anything. Like, I'm sure they'll kind of teach her a bits and bobs about the in-between here and there that, again, I don't have any clue myself about, but I'm sure the people that do have a clue would be this, hey, you know, look, I like that. Just keep doing this, or take that and move it over here and swap the order of this and that, you know, just the little things that she'll learn from people like Matt Bloom and William Regal and Shawn Michaels, who's the fucking head of NXT, but that NXT crowd I can see. And again, like I need to stop fucking fantasy booking things on this show, but I want to see that rematch with Delta and Jordan Grace. I want to see it happen on NXT now.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Because again, like, say fuck it, do like a Worlds Collide, or even if it's an NXT, they're not called takeovers anymore, but an NXT PLE, like obviously the next one's the Heatwave one, but one where Jordan Grace defending the TNA title on WWE television to someone like Delta. Like, that would be insanity to me. But no, besides Delta, because I feel like we've fawned over her in the Pareja, we don't want to rant for too long. Who was some of the standouts for you in terms of actual talent? Like, I know you said that, fuck, you've already forgotten the spots and as I was listening off, you're like, oh yeah, this and this. But in terms of just talents, who stood out to you the most just on this show overall?
I don't know. Like, I feel like you've already talked about it, and I'm still forgetting spots.
The issue of
I'm just so
literally,
zoned out.
like, it's only 2 fucking weeks, and it's just the epitome of ADHD of
all the shit I've had happen in the last 2 weeks.
It's been a very busy 2 weeks in the Crossfire household, but for me, one that I don't want to say wasn't expecting, but again, because I followed him, like I've follow MCW on socials and stuff and keep up, but Jarvis to me popped out a lot more than I was expecting.
Same, I think. Yeah.
And even
because both the Philippe fucking boys. They've always been good for me.
But I feel like every time you see them, they just get better.
They get better.
It's just insane.
Like, so I was like, you know, Waterman, fucking always fucking some good shit from him.
Tuckman is definitely one.
Tuckman's got up there for me.
He's going all around the country currently in terms of
that
fandom.
fucking. I think the entrance for me was a fucking highlight because that was just so great.
And again, right, this is where, and I go back to the Mick Moretti-Ryan Rapid match, right? When this is why I was kind of ranting about the people, and again, not Mick Moretti, because the character work and everything.
Yes, Rapid.
Yeah.
Rapid was one for me, definitely.
But with the Mick Moretti no-sell of the Canadian, right? The way that he played that off, it worked character-wise. And I said, I hate that people, when they're coming into the business, they try and come up with these dark, demonic characters because they want to be Undertaker, Kane. They want to be Bray Wyatt, fucking rest in peace. That Wyatt 6 thing was sick and I can't wait to see where it goes. But they want to be like the shit and they want to kick out of every... And then you got Tuckman. Does not take it... Like, he takes the wrestling seriously, but he doesn't take himself seriously. There's a very fine line, but like, he just...
He's literally reminded me of fucking the dad... Or like the camper fucking guy.
Oh, Dan the Dad and
Dan the Dad, and then you got like that camper guy that fights with the tents.
Is it? It's just Man Scout. Yeah, he has
he
has an actual name.
Yeah, the Dad Man Scout.
Is it Dave something? Like, is it Dave Manning or is that someone completely different?
I have no idea.
So but Man Scout Dave. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I couldn't think of their names.
Something, but yeah, Dan the Dad and Man Scout. Like, but even like. It's just a completely...
He's the Aussie answer to that.
It's a completely different style of character, but he's almost like a Danhausen when you look at him.
Yeah.
Like, he does all the silly, the cheesy shit. And in this day and age of professional wrestling, like, you take it with a grain of salt. You play along with it. Like, he's just... It's such an Aussie thing. He just wants to sink his fucking beers and he wants to wrestle. It's almost like a... I don't want to put words in people's mouths here, or, again, fantasy book more than I already have, but it's almost an Australian answer to Matt Riddle.
Yes.
Because he's just like, yeah, bro, like, I'm just going to smoke my green, dude. But he's a former MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Like, that bell rings, he's going to fuck you up. And Tuckman's the same. Like, he likes having fun, and he was doing the Tucky's elbow, which is obviously the people's elbow. Go figure.
Yeah.
But he can wrestle his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Definitely.
This is the point I'm trying to make, though. Like, stop, like, fucking coming into this business as a rookie and being like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to look strong, brother. Hook it up. Like, fuck that. That dude come out to Bill Goldberg's music, which is one of the most markiest things you could do, but it was fucking hilarious. Yeah. It was beautifully done, and it fit. It fit. He somehow made it fit with the fucking the beers and the...
And you look at it. That's why we're talking about him, because he's fucking different. He's not the same generic thing that every rookie wants to be.
But no, and because obviously MCW and PWA and all that stuff have been on Fight TV now, Triller TV. I'm really enjoying, because I love Triller TV, but I'm loving that the Stream Horizon has become a thing now, because again, there is free content on Triller TV, but the fact that this is like, obviously MLW is on there as well, but they're the official Australian partner now of MLW, which is awesome because that's free as well, and you can watch it without YouTube, which means no ads in between the matches. But the fact that this is an Australian company focusing on Australian wrestling, like they did have the Aussie Wrestling Network at some point. I never had that. From what I heard, it folded, or it might be folding, or I could be wrong on that. Someone can correct me, but yeah, I think something happened there where it was just bullshit. But Stream Horizon, I don't know who does or doesn't run it, but like the fact that it seems almost like, I guess, somewhat of a third party, but I did send them an email and I did send them an Instagram, but hey, if someone from fucking MCW does actually listen to this all the way through, then can you all hook me up? Because I want to talk to someone at Stream Horizon, and it's not that I want to get like a deal or anything. I literally just want to talk to whoever runs that about, like, you know, again, the stable questions of, you know, what's your earliest wrestling memory and how'd you get into Aussie wrestling, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk to them about, like, the thought process and the business model of putting these shows on. Very much like how, again, not to name drop, very much how I got to talk to Cam about OPW. Like I want to talk to them and put this over because obviously I'm not going to be able to get every show, but because it's probably not good business if every show's $5 for the pre-orders. Like I don't know how much money they are making, but it's a fact that it's there and they're willing to do these little deals and stuff. Like they had promo codes for Fight here and there. They've done that for not just Australian promotions, but all the way around. But the fact that they're trying to get this Stream Horizon thing off the ground and they're trying to build this empire, I really want to talk to someone and commend them. And because it really is a sound idea. And I know again I'm going in circles here, but the point I'm trying to make is although we had Fight on the surface, even just looking at it, it seems like they're approaching it from a different standpoint. Somewhat.
Yeah.
Again, that's just speculation and just the vibes that I get. I don't know. I have weird intuition. I think it comes along with being ADHD and just fucked in the head, basically. But no, I've really enjoyed the show. And again, not affiliated, but $5 for the pre-order. Yeah. And again, if this had been if this had been $20 and I had the spare money, I would have bought it and I would have been happy. But for $5, like again, we've kind of gone all over the place and we've had notes and whatever, but no, I really did enjoy this show.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, look, if I only get one person that listens to this or if it flops, whatever, this is the whole point of it being a bonus episode, was that we were just like, fuck it, we enjoyed the show. We both wanted to put over, one, MCW, but we really wanted to put over Stream Horizon here. And I really hope that, hey, like, seriously, if someone does listen to this and you can point me in the direction of an actual person or a name that I can at least send a message, or I've started using the business email lately. I've actually been sending emails to try and book guests, and I've been trying to get international guests. A couple have got back to me. Unfortunately, they've said no, but they have stressed that it's just for the time being. They said that when they're not doing podcasts and stuff, but I've got a couple of people that have said when they do start doing podcasts again, they will keep us in mind, which I appreciate. But if you can just lead me to a name or an email address or something that I can just say, hey, look, I have a podcast. Honestly, we don't have the biggest following, but I feel like it's starting to, get out there in Australia. And I just want to talk to someone, and if there's anything I can do to help, and, I don't know what I can do, but I feel like, I really dig what they're doing. I say this every time, like, how many more wrestling promotions can we have in this company? And the market, is it oversaturated? Yes. But is that a bad thing? No. It's where the politics and the bullshit come in handy. But I think, like, a lot of Australian promotions are on IWTV right now. I don't know, again, I don't know who runs it, all the bips and the bobs, but if we could get even a quarter or 20% of the promotions in this country on Stream Horizon, whether that's actually doing live events for free or, for example, right, we work for Extreme Capital Wrestling. Even if it was, say, hey, $5 to buy the replay, that's still something. But even if we put it up there for free, like OPW have, and obviously they're a bigger business model than we are, and I can't speak for upper management and what they want to do, but just having more exposure to me is just, I appreciate it, because obviously Fight is very saturated with American companies, as is IWTV, and there's, UK and, European and all this other stuff. Like, there's stuff from all over the world on both IWTV and Fight or Triller. But if we can keep this as an Australian-based streaming service for professional wrestling, I feel like, honestly, it would do well. I honestly feel like it would do well, and I do like, and I hope that they keep it as, keep the account free.
Yeah. Like,
maybe, hey, go down the road, you can almost do similar to what Fight Plus did, and you can get, hey, this event's exclusive with your sub, and that one is exclusive with your sub. But as a blanket statement of just going, hey, here's some free content, here's some stuff you can pay for if you want, but you can log in for free and just test it out. I think that, I really hope more Australian promotions get on it. But
definitely,
I think we'll repeat the song and match of the week, and we'll hit the plugs and just get the fuck out of here, because this is going to be an hour and a half, and it was not meant to be that long.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to repeat the song and match of the week, Miss Nova Lee.
Alrighty, so your song and match of the week for episode 112 was, your song of the week, Ballroom Blitz by Sweet. And your match of the week was MCW Ballroom Brawl Match 2021.
Which, spoiler alert, as we've mentioned multiple times in this episode, was won by Mitch Waterman, who came out at number 2 for the 2024 Royal Rumble. But yeah, as I said, this was just a bonus episode. We decided to throw it together in true court and conversation CRC pod fashion. Despite the fact that we took notes and everything, it didn't flow as much as we would have liked. We were saying 40 minutes to an hour, but the last couple of weeks have just been hectic. So literally, as we were going through the notes, we were reminding ourselves what was happening on top of the fact that we were already ADHD as fuck. But if you are listening to this episode when it does drop at 5 p.m. on Sunday, the 23rd of June, as a bonus episode, you can get your tickets to MXW Battle of the Border on July 20th. Is South Australia versus Victoria. You can get your tickets to the Emma Butler Memorial Show on October 26th for ICW Central West at the Cowra. Is it the Cowra Uniting Church? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
It's one of the church. I think it's one of only 2 churches in the town because it's such a small town. I could be wrong, but the links in the description anyway for the tickets. It'll tell you what the actual location is. I promise I'm a professional somewhat, but again, as I've stressed on all of these episodes, show means a lot to me. Emma passed away from the same cancer as my dad. Cracked record. So I really want this show to do well and raise money for a good cause. Yada yada yada. This, that, and the third. And of course, we've mentioned them a couple of times in this show. We can't talk about Australian wrestling without talking about Extreme Capital Wrestling because I'm the head commentator, play-by-play. Miss Nova Lee is the ring announcer / colour commentator, and hopefully show number 3, our main event, although it hasn't, the match graphic hasn't been put out officially. We all know what it's going to be. It's Ace Shack versus Jake Gibson in a rematch from our first show. Yeah. And that first show, they'd had 2 matches before locking up and still went fucking crazy. So the fact that these guys are going to come in fresh and they've got 5 months to prep for this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see those guys destroy each other on November 23rd at the Australian Croatian Club. The link will be in the description for that as well. But of course, social medias, Pro Wrestling Tee Store, Amazon wishlist, the GoFundMe if you really want to. Like, again, the trips have luckily slowed down, but we are still struggling for groceries. It is what it is. Everyone's going through a crisis. We're not going to sit here and beg for a handout, but if you're that way inclined, the link is in my description, in my link tree as well, which is, what is it? What do we work it as? linktr.ee/sensational_LJ. But yeah, it's Linktree, Sensational LJ. And now Miss Nova Lee, because she's starting to open a handful of more social accounts and trying to get her name out there and spread the word of ECW, that Extreme Championship Wrestling. Nah. Extreme Capital Wrestling, where, of course, we've said many times, we're not ripping them off. We're paying homage, and we've got a great roster to do that with. But I believe it is Linktree, again, linktr.ee/xxnova_Lee XX. And again,
that's correct.
I don't know why I'm saying it out loud because the description's there, but I'm just in the habit of when you're talking about like social handles, it's really annoying when people go, fuck, I don't know what my social handles are. And again, people don't live on social media. They actually have lives, unlike me, who's been forced to be off work for fucking 2.5 years. But, it's really good. If, like, for example, the episode with C-Factor that you'll hear next week if you're listening to this when it drops, C-Factor went bang and he rattled off his socials like they were nothing, so that way if you've got your phone in your hand, you can just type it straight in. But if you don't, it is in the description. But yeah, there's Pro Wrestling Tees, Amazon wishlist, socials, everything. I have just made the match graphics to the Wrestlers versus Marvel Markapalooza. I will be making a post at some point, so keep an eye on the Court in Conversation Facebook page for all the voting information. And of course, I will, at some point during the course of that voting, do just a 24-hour on the Instagram's page story. So, keep an eye for that. But predominantly, the Facebook page is where we get the interaction going and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, follow the links. Really enjoyed this show. Thank you, MCW, for, the little deal that you struck with Stream Horizon. Because, again, $5 for this show. And again, there was a couple of things where I was like, but I'm not the booker. I'm not working the show. It's not my thing. Like, they're the boss. They do what they want. And the MCW faithful enjoyed it. I did still enjoy it. Miss Nova Lee did enjoy it. We're really gonna miss Delta. I feel like if we can, that RCW show we're going to definitely have to try and find and do a review of, or perhaps even do a reaction to her match with DPC on his YouTube channel with one of its cool. But yeah, just anything else need to plug? Or
no, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, song and match of the week. What'd you say? Ballroom Blitz
by Sweet.
By Sweet. I love the way that you're saying it like that. You fucking mark. Got the whole too sweet thing happening.
Too sweet.
Yeah, the match of the week. MCW Ballroom Brawl 2020-21 match. It is on YouTube for free. But hey, look, if you're listening to this, you've obviously got the internet. Go to the Stream Horizon website, put in your email, make a password, have a scroll, check it out. Like, it's wrestling. It's affordable. It's great. It's just, happy times, happy wrestling. But I am the Essential Mrs Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys were just caught
in conversation. Shakalaka.
And we ranted for way too long, but...
Ballroom Blitz.
Ballroom Blitz.